Hello everyone, my name is Sumit and welcome to my YouTube channel. And this video is a tribute to the 10th World Chess Champion Boris Vasilievich Spassky. He was a world champion from 1969 to 1972. He played 3 world championships. The first one he played against Petrosian in 1966, which he narrowly lost. And the second one he played Petrosian, the current world champion at that time, and he won that championship to become the 10th World Chess Champion. He was a child prodigy. Uh, he became a grandmaster at 18, and he played the first candidate match at the age of in 1956, the age of 18, and he won numerous championship titles, 2 Soviet championships. He won the 69 World Championship. He held the title till 72, till that match, famous match against Bobby Fischer, which is dubbed as the match of the century. And he was a great human being, a pleasant personality, a genius, and a world champion. His character can be defined by the way he put up with Fischer's tantrums, demands. He played a game in the backstage in the ping pong room, complying to Fischer's demand. I think Fischer wouldn't have become world champion if Spassky didn't cooperate. He would have easily walked away. And also he uploaded after Fischer's victory in the 6th game, along with the audience. He stood up and uploaded Fischer, which speaks volume about his humility and his character. And after losing the World Championship, he was active in the 70s and 80s. He played in the 75 cycle, reaching the finals. In 1974, losing to Karpov. In 77, he reached the finals, losing to Portnoy. And he played a return championship with Fischer in 92. And that again he lost, and he lost against Jude Holder. But I would like to remember him for his brilliant victories, brilliant games, awesome moves. He was an aggressive player, but he was considered the first universal player because he mined middle game, end game, and he could play various openings. He was not an opening specialist, but his main strength was middle game, and he was excellent end game as well. But he was more famous for his middle game. Openings he played, he favored the king pawn more. He played the king's gambit. He played queen's gambit also with the white pieces. He played the Nimzo Indian, king's Indian, and queen's gambit with the black pieces. The Sicilian defense and the Rillopas with the black pieces. So he had an all-round playing strength, but he was not an opening specialist like Kasparov or Fischer. So I just want to show you some of his beautiful victories. The first one was a famous game which was shown in a James Bond movie, From Russia with Love. That was a brilliant combination. The second game I want to show you is a game between Spassky and Petrosian for the 1969 World Championship. In a 69 off, he had very, very good score against the 9 off. He used to play the 6 BG5 line. And against Ben Larsen in the USSR was the best of the world, where he played the top board for the USSR. That was a brilliant victory. These are the 3 games I want to show you. And he won Olympic gold medals and numerous Olympic medals for USSR and numerous titles. He had plus score against all world champions. After Kasparov, against Karpov, Kasparov, Smyslov, Tal, and Fischer. So he was a great person. It's a big loss for chess that he passed away. I like to remember him as a gentleman, a genius, a world champion, and a legend. So let's enjoy his games, and his legacy will go on until chess is played by human beings. Rest in peace, Boris Vasilievich Spassky. So let's enjoy his games. So the first game I want to show you is between Spassky and Ronstein. Ronstein was a World Championship challenger and a genius in his own right, a brilliant player. And to crush him like this is just wonderful. So let's look at the game. Spassky played e4, the king's gambit, f4, he takes f4 and knight f3. G5, these days the Fischer variation d6 and h6 or g5 is more popular. He takes d5 and bishop d6. Black doesn't want to immediately capture the pawn because he will be exposed to knight c3 and the queen will be under pressure. Knight c3, knight e7, bishop d4. Spassky likes to control the center. He played with the classical chess principles, controlling the center, castling, and putting the pieces in the right squares. And he liked the dynamic pawns in the center of the board. Castle, bishop d3, knight d7, castle, and h6. h6 was a slow move. Knight e4, and knight takes d5, c4, knight e3, bishop takes e3, pawn takes e3, and c5. Bishop e7, and now bishop c2, preparing queen d3, rook e8, and queen d3. Now this battery is very dangerous now, and position has become very tactical. e2, and a normal human being would play like rook f2 or something, a very normal move, but Spassky played a brilliant move, knight to d6. 2 exclamation mark for this move. Engines don't understand this that much, but I think it's a brilliant move. The idea is to open up this this battery to h7, knight f8, knight takes f7, again another brilliant move, exposing to the pin. Bronstein took the rook takes, and if you can see, all the white pieces are participating in the attack, while black has only got 2 or 3 defenders. So bishop f5, queen takes f5, queen d7, queen f4. The queen is the main piece that will help white to achieve his goal. Bishop f6, knight e5, hitting the queen, queen e7, and now bishop b3 is deadly. Bishop takes e5, knight takes e5, discovered check, king h7, and queen e4 check, and black resigned in this position. There was if king h8 and rook takes f8 would win with devastating consequences. So that was a brilliant game by Boris Spassky, and this game was featured in the James Bond film from Russia with Love. The second game I want to show you is a game between Spassky and Petrosian, the World Championship match in 1969. E4, and this game had a big impact on me when I looked at it for the first time years ago. So this is Sicilian defense, and Spassky goes for the main open Sicilian and the knight out Sicilian. BG5, Spassky exclusively played this move. That defines his style, aggressive style. Knight bd7, bishop c4, putting all his pieces in the active squares. Queen a5, queen d2, h6, bishop takes f6, knight takes f6, and long castle. E6 and rook h e1. And there are a lot of tactical possibilities now. Okay, the black's king is in the center, and all white pieces are actively participating in the match. bishop e7, f4, castle, bishop b3, and rook e8. King b1, bishop f8. I think b5 was much better. g4, a pawn sacrifice, opening, if black accepts the pawn, it will open up the g file. Petrosian accepts the challenge, and I think it was a mistake. Queen g2, hitting the knight, knight f6, and rook g1. Bishop d7 and f5, putting pressure on that weak e6 square. King h8, rook f1, putting all his pieces in the very active squares, and there'll be a lot of tactical possibilities in this position. Queen d8, queen coming back. I think it was a mistake. Pawn takes pawn, and e5. Another brilliant move, vacating the e4 square for his knights. Pawn takes pawn and knight e4. The idea is of this sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice basically. The queen is guarding that square. Knight takes e4, rook takes f8, knight takes e4, and rook takes f8 leads to mate. So knight h5 was played, queen g6, again hitting the knight. Pawn takes pawn, knight g5, and here Petrosian resigned. If pawn takes pawn, queen h5 check is devastating. King h8 and queen f7 check, king h8, king h7, and there are multiple ways to win. Rook f3 is the quickest. So that was another brilliant game by Boris Vasilievich. So this is the third game I want to show you of Boris Vasilievich. Another brilliant game, another brilliant miniature. This was played in USSR versus the rest of the world. And let's look at the game. b3, e5. Taking control of the center. Bishop b2, knight c6, c4, knight f6. Spassky developed the pieces very naturally. Knight f3 and e4, knight d4, and bishop c5. Look at the position of the pieces. All the pieces are in active squares, and this defines the style of Boris Vasilievich. He is a master of initiative and attack. Knight takes c6, e takes c6, opening up the c8 bishop, e3, and bishop f5. Developing his last piece, queen c2. So if you look at this position, all the black pieces are in active squares. Black is ready to castle. White lacks in development. Queen e7, planning to castle queenside. Bishop e2 and castles. Now black is much better. f4, it was a bad move. I think black should have developed his knight. And knight g4. g3 and h5. Taking advantage of this g3 move. h3 and h4. Double exclamation mark move. Black is going to penetrate white's position from through the h file. Pawn takes g4, pawn takes g3, and because the roots are not connected and the king is in the center, the black king is not going to survive this. Rook g8, rook g1, and rook h1. Brilliant rook sacrifice by Spassky. It's a blow after blow. And g2, rook f1, and queen h4 check, king d1, pawn takes rook check, and here black resigned. The finish would be if bishop takes pawn check, and bishop e2, queen h8, and it's a checkmate. So I hope you enjoyed these brilliant games of Boris Spassky. There are many brilliant games he has played. These three are my favorites, and this is my humble tribute to the 10th World Chess Champion. So until next time, enjoy and stay blessed. Bye-bye.